There we go. I'd like to apologise for the slight delay, folks. Just have some technical difficulties with the stream on our end. They're all resolved, and we are now back up and running as we've just seen Galactic Skull 2 spin out. Welcome back to the NORL Project Cars 2 FIA GT3 Series, round number 6 here at Laguna Seca at night, surprisingly. Decision taken by the admins to run this race at night. A few things to go over. Nemesis Racing is not participating in this round again due to an injury. The same reason he did not participate last time out in Monaco in Formula 1. It's currently Cone Joker who holds pole position. That's been taken away from him by Murcielago, then immediately retaken by Cone Joker. So a good battle forming at the front. We'll see if Keji can improve on his form from last time out. Keji really starting to find his pace in this championship. Speaking of finding his pace and speaking of gaining traction in the league, we're going to take a look quickly before the race begins at the championship standings and get a gather of what is going on. So it's still Keji who leads by a strong 31 points ahead of Mark in second. Murcielago into P3 with 53 points. He's just 6 points behind Mark. Beamer Black is just 3 points behind Murcielago, and Nemesis Racing, who's not participating today, is only 2 points behind Beamer Black, which means Galactic Skull 2 will likely overtake him today, who we're watching. Keji does take provisional pole position by a whopping 2 seconds. Really been putting in the effort, has Keji, lately, and it's beginning to show. He's really found a footing, and he's looking like more and more like he's going to be the next NORL champion. Beamer Black brings the gap down to 1.4 though in the Lamborghini, tries his best. Kevin Jacobs has swapped to the Acura NSX for this week's race. Everyone else looks pretty much the same. JFD in a Renault and Anil Tanovic in a Ginetta. A surprising choice. The Freaky Joker still in his McLaren. 34 seconds off the pace currently. He'll come up to the line and hope to set a valid time, and will go 6.9 seconds off the pace. Murcielago brought the gap under a second to Keji, but it's still Keji with a dominant hold on this qualifying session. As he comes around the final sector, we'll see if he can improve even further. Some lovely engine sounds from the Mercedes-Benz AMG GT. Up to the line it comes. He's actually been dethroned by Mark, but then immediately retakes it by nearly 7/10 of a second. Mark very much in the fight then, with 2 minutes 47 seconds left in the session. A couple of laps get left for these guys in this session, but they're going to have to get on with it. Murcielago will be hoping to get on with it, as we say. Coming down the corkscrew, such a tricky section, of course. Especially this, very easy to lose traction. The Bentley BMW back end, no BMW. The Bentley back end slips out a little bit through the back section there. Looks like he's got it pretty much all under control. He'll come up to the line. We'll want to be aiming for that inside apex. Will he hit it just about? And then he'll mount the outside curve. Now we'll make the run to the line. Is this going to be an improvement for Murcielago? 1.6 seconds is the gap to him to pole position. Is he going to improve? He improves by a 10th. Not enough to change any positions, of course. Galactic Skull 2 will be coming up to finish his lap around the final corner. Heavy on the accelerator down up towards the start-finish line. As he goes across the line, he goes to 2 seconds off the pole leader's time. Still Keji dominating. Mark has found traffic on this lap. He might get a little bit of turd on the front start-finish straight. The Renault tries to get out of his way as quickly as possible, but Mark makes his run down. Does he cross the line and take pole position away? No, he doesn't. Brings it to within 3 tenths, but not quite. Keji still improving though. Finds another 2 tenths on Mark in the background. Good effort by Keji this session, really starting to get into a rhythm. Now these will be the final laps of the session as Mark's gone off the track. That's his session all but finished. Murcielago will be coming towards the corkscrew for another attempt. He's dropped off a little bit of pace, but will he be able to? You can see just on the bottom right, Keji showing signs of improvement all the time. Meanwhile, Beamer Black moves up himself into P3. Murcielago will want to respond to that fairly quickly, and he's going to have the opportunity to do so. Coming up to the final corner, he'll get another lap after this, of course, I believe. If he crosses the line with 40 seconds left in the session, he should be all fine and dandy. Across the line, Murcielago, does he improve? No improvement from the Bentley. He'll have one more lap to try it. As will Kedji. Kedji looking to extend his advantage. Mark looking like he's doing some reconnaissance work and is trying to follow Kedji to find out where he's losing time to the Mercedes. So to the final corner comes Kenji, looking to improve his time for one final time. Might get another lap if he's quick. But this is what they're all going to be aiming for. Is it going to be 5/10 or is it going to be more? Kedji up to the line now. And extends the advantage to almost 9/10 of a second. Good effort by Kedji. That's what they've all got to aim for. One person who won't be aiming for anything is Beamer Black. He's gone off and ruins his lap. Kern Joker out on a lap as well. So is Murcielago, looking to improve. We're looking for cars towards the final sector. Looks like everyone's pretty much in the first sector. Kevin Jacobs looks like he'll be the next to cross the line. Coming up to the final corner, wants the break. Get to the inside apex as quick as he can. Get to the outside, also while keeping a good momentum through there. It looked like a bit of a scruffy one, but he is 4.4 seconds off the pace. Will he find any improvement from P8 on the grid? Across the line, he goes 4.1, but no position change. And Altanovic and JFD both look like they're not going to be setting any new lap times in this session. Kern Joker is making his way down the corkscrew as we speak. Murcielago's also putting in a very heavy lap. He's going through the final corner now. Looks like he had a little bit of a twitch out the final corner, but gets on the throttle pretty heavily, goes up to the line. Is Murcielago going to be a dark horse in this? He goes to P4, overtakes Kern Joker, but nothing doing. Galactic's called too slow. He won't be improving anytime soon. Is Mark out on a lap? It looks like Mark's out on a lap. Down the corkscrew comes Mark. This is the man who could take pole away from Kedji. Kedji, of course, out on a good lap as well. Mark's still trying to follow Kedji to find a little bit of time, mimic his lines and find out where he's gaining and or losing time around the final corner. The top two come, both on qualifying laps. Kedji goes up to the line to extend his advantage. He doesn't, pulls off to prevent Mark getting a toe to the line. Mark comes up to the line, only improves by a few thousandths, and it is Kedji with a new pole position. Another pole position added to Kedji's name for this season, then great effort by the Mercedes driver. Will line up ahead of the Renault of Mark, and Beamer Black will line up in P3. Murcielago in the Bentley will start P4 ahead of Kern Joker in the next Mercedes. GT3 series Galactic Skull 2 will line in P6. Behind Galactic Skull 2 will be the freaking Joker, and then Kevin Jacobs starting P8. JFD P9, bringing up the back of the grid is the Ginetta once again of Anel Tanovic. Very much advantage Mercedes, having the inside line and having a better top line speed, so... So we get ready for the guys to go out on their formation lap, their very short formation lap up to the start-finish line, and then they will fire off down into turn 1 for 30 minutes of racing. Oh. So we get ready then to go racing. We're down to 28 minutes now. It looks like we're taking a little bit of time to get ready. Here we go then. We get ready for round 6 of the NORL GT3 series here at Laguna Seca. 30 minutes of racing begins. Lights out and away they go. Great start from Kedji. Looks like he's got the better momentum. Actually, Beamer Black's got a very good start. Might challenge for P2 up on the inside. And it looks like Murcielago's going to swamp Mark, getting swamped on the start. Bentley on the outside. Lamborghini on the inside. Both of them will likely going to take positions off him. Murcielago fourth into second. What a start. Beamer Black will move up into P3. Temporarily shove Mark the shot down. Mark looking like he's hustling the Lamborghini as much as he can. A little bit of contact. The Kern Joker's on the outside. He's got to be careful of him. Mark all the way down into P4. Terrible start for the Renault. As away we go for lap 1. We got a few stragglers in the background, and the main racing has begun. Into Sector 2 we come. We can see Mark still trying to find a way past the Lamborghini Huracan that duped him off the start. But what a start from the Bentley. Mark looking to the inside of the Huracan. That's not a corner he can make a move. He'll want to hang back and get ready for an attack. Up to him, but he spun. Was there contact from the Mercedes there? The Mercedes definitely looked like it made contact. It's potential But now the Mercedes definitely makes contact and hits off Beamer Black. Beamer Black off in a big way at the corkscrew. He's going to come back on the racing line. Guys are going to be very careful to avoid that. Definitely contact between Kurt Joker and Beamer Black. Meanwhile, Galactic Skull 2 is trying to fight Kevin Jacobs while all of this is going on. Loses that battle for now. The freaking Joker, by the way, up into P3. What a start from the McLaren. Going into the final corner, it is Ketchi leading from Murcielago. The freaking Joker leads in 3-3. Kern Joker did have some contact on that lap, definitely at least once. Now Galactic Skull up in the slipstream of Kevin Jacobs. Is he going to make a move into turn 1? He'll have 2 lines available to him. So many lines available to you in turn 1 at Laguna Seca. Pretty much any line you take works as the braking boards get absolutely smashed to smithereens. Meanwhile, Kern Joker having a little bit of a dig at the freaking Joker. The 2 Jokers going at it in the middle of Sector 2. Kevin Jacobs goes defensive from Galactic Skull 2, who's on the outside. Squeezes him out, but goes wide onto the gravel. Goes Kevin Jacobs. That'll give an opportunity to the Bentley to take away P5 from Kevin Jacobs once more. And Kevin Jacobs will have to do the work to try get that Bentley back. Let this lap. Mark, meanwhile, in the pits after that damage, and so is Beamer Black. These guys take the mandatory pit stops early then. Get them out of the way. Get the damage fixed that they may have picked up on that lap as well. And away we go. In 27.5 minutes of racing, we've already had 2 main contenders in some form of contact. We're not so sure how serious the contact was. Oh, but there, speaking of serious contact, the freaking Joker was in the wall. He spun out, put it in the wall at the corkscrew, drops all the way from P3 to P6. It was good, such a good start for the freaking Joker, and he's let it all go. And Altanovic looking to try closing on JFD a small bit as we look for gaps around the circuit. Does half spin it though. Not very confident with the accelerator in that car perhaps. So Ketchi leads comfortably from Murcielago and the Bentley. Murcielago doing his utmost. Kern Joker had a very controversial and scruffy start, and will look to get that a bit better. Meanwhile, Kevin Jacobs putting the pressure back on Galactic Skull 2 to catch him through Sector 2 as we look through the grid. These two at the back of the grid will be trying to push as hard as they can to minimise the gap when it comes to pit stops after they both take their pit stops on the end of lap 1. Ooh, big slide from Murcielago. Gap down to 1 second though. He actually gained throughout that slide. That's something you don't often see. Good final sector so far from Murcielago. Is Ketchi struggling a little bit in this early phase, or is he just nursing the tyres? Remains to be seen. Meanwhile, we have lost Galactic Skull 2 from P4. Galactic Skull 2 has had a spin, it looks like, and has gone all the way to the back of the grid at P8, last of the people who are yet to pit. However, there goes Anel Tanovic. That's a free position for Galactic Skull 2. As Anel Tanovic having another horrible weekend. Meanwhile, Murcielago is getting massively through turn 1. The gap down to 3/10 from 1.2 seconds. Looking to the inside, not quite there. Going to be right with him throughout Sector 2. This is great progress from Murcielago. He's right with the Mercedes for the first time this race, and we might have a battle for the lead on our hands, and he's going to have to think carefully where he plots this move and not get too excited on the throttle. Gets a good mid-corner run, but gets a twitch, and out he goes, and full 360 he will do, and he will slam it just about. Kern Joker is able to avoid him. Gets a 360, burnout going to get him the right way, but no pressure for Ketchi. Just wipes the sweat off his brow and carries on with another day in the office. The freaking Joker out on the gravel a small bit there. Kevin Jacobs, is he going to be able to capitalise on Murcielago's misery? Of course, it's going to take a lap or so to get all that dirt off Murcielago's tyres after he had that little excursion. Can Kevin Jacobs capitalise and go for the podium here? He'll do his utmost. Gap still about a second between the two. Mercedes 1-2 currently after that whole fiasco. We'll see how much Kevin's able to gain down the start-finish straight. Bentley, a pretty powerful car, but I can imagine the NSX is no slouch either. Brakes heavily. Bentley looking a little bit cautious through turn 1. A little bit of a twitch there once again. The Bentley looks like it's struggling through that opening sector. And we saw that's exactly how he had his accident. Meanwhile, the other Bentley hunting down the Renault role reversal up towards the front of the grid. Former Galactic score 2. Trying to hunt down the Renault of JFD. Really looks like the Bentley struggling with some understeer through that corner. That could be what caught Murcielago out and give him another lap of misery. Fastest man on the track right now is actually Mark, as we have a Renault going off the circuit, handing the position off to Bentley in the end. Just got on the throttle too early, and such an easy thing to do, but Mark and Beamer Black pushing super hard, both setting times of 25s. The only guy near that is the Freaking Joker setting high 26s, so amazing pace by the guys who've pitted already in this race. They will be in play later in the race. Once everyone makes the stops, these two will be in the play. Speaking of stops, Freaking Joker has opted to take his first mandatory stop of the Grand Prix, of the race, of the series. And will come into the pits. And what will they do? Will they change the tyres? Is tyre wear a thing? No, it's not. It's just a simple stop, go, and away he will drive out. Now, is Mark going to overtake him? I don't think he'll do it. But he's close, but I don't think it's going to be close, but no cigar. Yeah, I don't think Mark's remotely close on that opportunity, but he has closed the gap substantially, so he can start working towards getting it right. The Ginetta looks awful on the brakes, just bouncing around in turn 1. So Murcielago looking to close the gap back down as we have a lovely thunderous roar from the Bentley, trying to hunt down Cone Joker to get his P2 back. Had a little bit of a drama. Cone Joker is making inroads on Kedshi. So Kedshi's race pace hasn't been that magnificent in this race. Murcielago was more than a match for him, but unfortunately did make that accident, did make another mistake, and took himself out of contention pretty much. But the Bentley trying its best to catch and pass Cone Joker for P2, but it's going to be a tough order. The Mercedes is gaining on the other Mercedes. Got down to 3.2 at the front of the grid now, and it looks like Kedshi just struggles through the opening sector, then seems to find a rhythm through sector 2 and 3. Got down to 3 seconds now though, as Cone Joker tries to prove me wrong. Continues to gain time throughout sector 2, and if he gains time in sector 3, then Kedshi's got to start worrying. And now of course it is entirely possible that Kedshi's just taking it easy, not taking any risks, you know. He's very good in this race, very good in this championship, so there's no reason to take unnecessary risks so early. Smallest gap on the circuit then is the one we are watching, which is Cone Joker versus Kedshi. It's down the hill they both come. 2.1 seconds to get down to now. Big slide for Cone Joker. Will lose him some time throughout sector 3, but the gap is still decreasing massively for Kedshi. .3 seconds is the gap, and like we said, is pretty much the smallest gap right now, apart from the Freaking Joker and Mark, as Mark has just passed the Freaking Joker. So we said that he was close and could start making inroads. He's finally got the job done on the Freaking Joker now. Can the Freaking Joker fight that back at all in that McLaren? He'll have a good start to that. We have JFD pitting as well. The other Renault comes into pit lane. Now the Freaking Joker will have a good opportunity into turn 1 if he can get a good exit. It was a pretty average exit, but we'll see now who's faster. Is it McLaren or is it Renault coming down to turn 1? Freaking Joker pushing all the way, absolutely demolishes one of the cones on the inside. Goes a little bit deep. They both go a little bit deep into turn 1. Doing his best to catch the Renault, seeing if he can retake anything after the Renault passed him into the corkscrew. It'll be tough. Meanwhile, Aneltanovic has been caught up to 2 seconds from Beamer Black is the gap between those two now. Such a small gap between these guys. Mark Shark had the pace to get by, but the Freaky Joker's been able to stick with him. Down the hill goes the Joker. Kevin Jacobs then comes into pit lane. The first one in the top 5 to make that blink, so we'll see how much of a domino effect that has. Oh, that's a spin for Galactic Skull 2 out of the final corner. We were just about to see if Galactic Skull 2 was going to respond to Kevin Jacobs pitting. Now he's going to get involved with the fight with Mark and the freaking Joker. How involved is the Bentley going to be? Because the Bentley's wounded. It's not got the straight line speed to go down there after spinning out. It didn't have any momentum. And how hard will Galactic Skull 2 be able to fight off this Renault into turn 1? Gives him a squeeze to the outside line. Meanwhile, what's the freaking Joker doing? Completely lost. Gone down the pit lane exit and has now spun out into the grass. Car slowing, looks like issues for the freaking Joker. Not sure what's happened there, but it looks like his race is over. However, Galactic Skull and Mark's race is just beginning. Is that car moving yet? No, it is not, so freaking Joker, game over. Mark up the inside of Galactic Skull 2. That's not usually a place you see a move. It's a great effort by both of these guys. Great effort to Mark for showing the respect, and well done to Colin for not getting involved in a silly accident. That would have been a good way to take these both out of the race. But that's normally not a place you see a move. Great effort from Galactic Skull 2. Meanwhile, Beamer Black has long since passed Aneltanovic. Got down to 1.4 now at the front. These two, of course, both still yet to make their stops. So this is a dead heat right now. These are both of these guys. But at what point do we stop making excuses for Kedchi and realise that it is Cone Joker who is just faster at the moment? Cone Joker losing a little bit through Sector 2, but did get the gap to within exactly a second at some point on that lap. So he has got the pace in him. Down to 8 attempts into the hairpin corkscrew. Make our way down. 7 attempts now the gap. Cone Joker really starting to apply the pressure to Kedchi. Now will Kedchi blink and pit? Or will he stick this battle out? And are we going to see an on-track battle for the lead? Because I get the feeling Kedchi might pit. No, he does not. So we might see a battle going into turn 1. Cone Joker are going for a better run on the outside. Losing a little bit of time. Went a bit too wide. But now we'll have Slipstream to help him reel that gap back for the going too wide. He's looking like he's going to get away with it. Not gain any time because of the poor exit, but not lose any because of the Slipstream. Kedchi goes a little bit wide though into turn 1, bringing Cone Joker very much back into play. Right behind, and you can just see Kedchi is just not hitting the apexes. These guys are both still faster than anyone on circuit, but it is clear that Cone Joker is faster than anybody right now. However, Mark just set a number 25, so he's out to prove me wrong once again. Not sure why we're watching a Bentley. Camera seems to lose sight of what's important through there. Now, he got it down to 7 tenths on the last attempt into the final turn, and then messed his exit up. So, oh no! What a save! Locked up the rear tyres and went for a slide across the corkscrew. What a save! That could have been game over for both Kedchi and Cone Joker. Good save. by Kernjoker, locking the rears, and he chooses to pit. So clearly not feeling confident in those rear tyres anymore. Into the pit lane he comes. No one else blinks, so he's in on his own right now, apart from Altanovic, who's in, but he's definitely not relevant to the battle for the lead. So the classic stop-go. Looks like it. And away he'll go. So how long before Kedshi responds? It's 5 seconds is a gap that Kedshi has to Murcielago. So Murcielago's not far away. Meanwhile, we have a car, I think Levzan Altanovic, just drifting across the sand coming out the pit lane there. Now, we've seen a lot of cars mess up this pit lane exit, so we'll make sure that Kernjoker doesn't. Meanwhile, there is Mark, so you can see just how close Mark is involved in the battle for the lead still. Mark is still right there, despite pitting on lap 1. Mark's still right in the battle for the lead, because Kernjoker is a net second, and if the undercut's any good, will be a net first. Mark's still very much involved in this battle for the lead. It could be life in the Renault camp yet. Murcielago pulling time out of Kedshi as well now. So how long does Kedshi leave it before he responds to the pit lane threat from Kernjoker? There's 12 minutes, coming up to 12.5 minutes left in the session. How quick does he blink? Still staying out for another lap. That would have been a good time to pit because he's coming on traffic. So hopefully JFD does not get involved in this. He's pulled off the racing line, but he didn't slow down, so that didn't really mean anything. Now, how hard will he hold Kedshi up? Kedshi goes sailing around the outside. Good exchange there from those guys. Good respect shown on either end. Meanwhile, Mark right with Kernjoker now, really putting the pressure on, really trying to get involved in this battle for the lead. He knows Kernjoker's just been battling with Kedshi for the lead, so he knows if he can pass and gain time on Kernjoker, he will be in the net lead when everyone has pitted. This could be Mark pulling off a spectacular win if it all goes well for him. But he's got to get past Kernjoker first, who's still battling for the win himself. Kedshi still yet to pit. Kedshi drifting it through turn 1. That may look better, but it's certainly not faster. Mark takes P3 away from Kernjoker as he just got into turn 1 too hot. Mark setting consistent mid-25s. This boy is on fire right now. And it shows as he moves himself up into P3, and if he can gain 1.5 seconds on Kernjoker and 1.5 seconds on Kedshi, he will be in the lead when it comes to pitting. Through the middle sector we come then. Is Kedshi pitting? Kedshi still not pitting. Kedshi might be pulling a late strategy like we saw with Nemesis Racing in round 1 at Bathurst, where he left it until the very final lap. Meanwhile, Murcielago comes into the pits then, meaning it is pretty much just Kedshi left to pit. Kernjoker's eager to not let Mark get away though, so it might not be all plain sailing for Mark just yet. Kedshi's got a push. Murcielago leaves his pit box now. He's not going to come out ahead of these guys. He's going to come out about 10 seconds behind them. They pass him now. Through turn 1, it is advantage Mark at the moment. You can see that Mercedes just struggling to get heat in its tyres as it gives a big tail whip. And actually, Murcielago's a lot closer than I first thought he would be. So a good stop from Bentley to bring him into the fight here. Looking for other gaps on the circuit. Murcielago's only 2 seconds, 3, 4. It keeps extending. About 4 seconds behind Kernjoker, so he's still relevant. 4 seconds is the gap between Kevin Jacobs and Beamer Black. I expect that to be a lot closer soon enough. Been a good comeback for Beamer, but it's been an excellent comeback for Mark. And definitely deserves driver of the day if he can get the win here today. Now, Kedshi pits. This is the moment we've all been waiting for. How has Kedshi been getting on by himself while these two pitted so much more earlier with 10 minutes left to go then? Kedshi pits. Where's Mark and Kern? They're coming up to the final corner now. Now, when are they going to release? Come on, come on, green, 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 green. They're not releasing Kedshi. Why are they not releasing Kechi? Kechi's been held in his box for far too long. Something's gone wrong. Now they're releasing. That's a very long stop, and he loses the lead to both of these guys. And did he take on fuel? Did they have a faulty wheel nut? Did they take on fuel? That was a very long stop for Kechi as he loses fourth. He's down into fourth. He's off the podium. Mark in the lead by only by half a second, but he's off the podium. Kechi's gone from first to off the podium. Disastrous strategy and disastrous pit stop for the other Mercedes of Kechi then. He should have at least come out in second, and he's instead off the podium. Less than a second is a gap for the leaders then. This is very much a battle for the lead now. So through the corkscrew they come. Mark looking a little bit slower, very slow, lost half a second to Cone Joker, now increasing. Cone Joker all over the back of the Renault, and how much will he hassle him into the final corner? It's going to be interesting. Is he going to send it up the inside? No, he's going to wait for it, but Mark half expected him to send it up the inside and actually covered the inside line. So who's going to get the better exit as a result of that? I think Mark still got away with a really good exit despite covering the inside line. Good dummy from Cone Joker, but great exit from Mark. Keeps him in the lead for another lap. Cone Joker still very much in this. It's not all plain sailing, as a little wiggle from the Renault will bring Cone Joker into play once again. Like I say, it's definitely not plain sailing because Cone Joker looking for the outside, nothing doing. 4 tenths is the gap, very close up at the front. Both of these guys struggling with overheating tyres, it looks like. Both of them just off the grip! Speaking of no grip, Cone Joker just hits the sand on the outside. Goes across the track into the wall, and that's certain damage for the Mercedes. Certain damage that is going to inflict how hard it is going to be to chase down Mark at this stage in the race. Now, if he can do it, props to him, but that's going to be steering damage at the least. And you can see it wobbling coming out of the next corner, just to give you a visual how much that has affected the Mercedes. Now the Bentley will be looking hungry to take second place away from Cone Joker, if Cone Joker does in fact have that damage. And it looks like the Renault does struggle coming back down the corkscrew. Because the Mercedes gains about half a second but then loses it again. 2 seconds is the gap between Murcielago and Kechi. Kechi closing in a little, not much but a little. Beamer Black has actually dropped off Kevin Jacobs. And that's about it for gaps on the track. The top the top 4 still reasonably compact. But with Cone Joker driving with a wounded Mercedes, you can only assume it's a damage limitation drive now for Cone Joker, just to secure this second place. He just went over the curb and hit the desert sand, and it fired him across the track. Meanwhile, Kechi now looking to get involved with a Bentley. The Bentley looks like it's struggling out that corner. Kechi lines up a move for the inside. Is he going to make it stick? Got to be later on the brakes than the Bentley. Bentley holding it on the outside. Kechi on the inside. Kechi cuts the little corner a little bit. Murcielago makes contact to Kechi. Looked like he shoved Murcielago off the road there. There's definitely contact, wasn't there? And then next thing we see, Murcielago off the road. So what's the contact between the two there? Certainly was, and it looks like Kechi handing the position back, playing it safe. So Kechi did feel like he shoved the Bentley off, gives the position back to play safe. We saw something similar with Ragnar and Chazza in Formula 1 earlier this week. So Kechi gets right back on it. Is he going to send it up the inside of the final corner immediately? Just like Lewis Hamilton in Spa 2008. Gives the position back and then immediately retakes it down the inside. Good move by Kechi. Up into P3 he is. And he's going to do some work to try close in on Cone Joker. But you'd have to argue that the win's gone to Mark so far. Of course, it's never over until it's over. So we can't say that. Nice cold drink to soothe the throat for all this shouting we've done over the last 26 minutes. Some drama just about everywhere you look today. Certainly been a better race than we've seen in recent weeks. Oh, Murcielaga's gone. We've seen him do that many a time today, haven't we? Just got on the throttle too early, it looked like. And it's going to be hard for him to close up. You can actually see Kevin Jacobs in that panning shot now. So Kevin Jacobs closing up, but Beamer Black not too far away from Kevin either. The Lamborghini trying to close in. The Acura, I believe it is, not a Honda in this game at least. It is very much an Acura, which is basically a rebadged Honda, but marketing reasons, as I'm sure you'll all know. So looking at gaps on the track, looks like the race is coming to a close in terms of battles as well as time. I'm curious how Aneltanovic has managed to end up 3 minutes and 20 seconds off the lead. And looking at the state of that Ginetta, I can see why. I just hope Gladyskull 2 can lap him without any repercussions. So we also see how many times a lapped car can ruin a lead car's race. Not this time though, lets Galactic Skull 2 through just fine. Galactic Skull looked like he was a little bit shocked there and mounted the curb something fierce, didn't he? Cone Joker dropping off Mark. Is he falling into the clutches of Kedshi though? The gap's about 3 seconds. Kedshi has the advantage of not driving a wounded car. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and ride inside the cockpit of this Mercedes. And you can just see how wobbly it is from the inside. Now just trying to see, oh, you can see under braking, something's definitely damaged. And I'm seeing if he's holding the steering wheel straight. It looks like it's fairly straight, but he's definitely struggling in the corners and under braking to keep this car under control. So the car is wobbling around, so that's an advantage for Kedshi, but the steering isn't bent, so it might not be steering damage. It looks like it's suspension damage that he's got to contend with. And as we get into a minute 30 left, we're looking at this and one more lap, I would say, of this race that Kedshi's got to use to pass. Oh, he's gone! Cone Joker's gone! He's spun out, and it looks like he's done it in the exact same way that he did before. He's avoided the wall this time, but Cone Joker's still in third, luckily for him. Doesn't fall off the podium, loses second to Kedshi, and he's got to be careful that doesn't happen again, because he has Murcielago. We just saw someone go for a spin in the background. It's Galactic Skull 2 is the latest victim. I think we actually saw someone else. I think it was JFD who spun, and Galactic Skull 2 just happened to be spinning at the exact same time. So is Murcielago going to be able to close and take the podium off Cone Joker in the final lap? Because Mark starts the final lap, certainly, of the race now. Kevin Jacobs is actually close to Murcielago as well. Good drive by Kevin Jacobs again. So if Cone Joker has another accident, he could lose the podium, and he could also lose the top 5 here if he's not careful. So Cone Joker begins his final lap in a wounded Mercedes, and we've seen how hard this thing is to drive already, and he's done well to keep it where it is. So far, he'll be biting himself for the accident that caused him that agony though, because now he's got a Bentley that isn't damaged, closing in on him pretty quick, and he'll take it slower through this next section. He'll take it easy to make sure that doesn't happen again, and that will show and encourage Murcielago to start chasing him down. Now, so far, he's done pretty well. Now, he's still got a sector 3 to go. Where is Mark on the track? Mark is coming up to the corkscrew now. Kedshi's still going well. Cone Joker's still going well around this corner. How does the Mercedes fare? Fares pretty well. Looking like it's comfortable. Now, is it going to struggle into the hairpin? Looks like it wobbles a little bit, but he's going to get away with it. I think he'll keep his podium. Meanwhile, the man, definitely driver of the day, caught out in an early collision, has come back to win in Laguna Seca. Stellar performance from the Renault, thoroughly deserved. Kedshi had a nightmare of a pit stop that took him out of any contention for the win in the air there. Kernjoker drives a limping Mercedes home, manages to keep that podium after severe damage. Murcielago gets P4. Kevin Jacobs will take the top 5 spot. Beamer Black could only manage P6 in the end. Galactic Skull 2 was a story of spins. JFD didn't seem to have the pace, and Anel Tanovic, well, 3 minutes 48 seconds off the lead. Shows you how his race went. Great effort by the Renault of Mark. Fantastic drive. And I don't believe anybody could argue that he deserved this win today. Got taken out in an early collision, went all the way down to the back, and comes back to take the victory. Phenomenal stuff from Mark. Great effort. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen, that is round 6 of the FIA GT3 series by NORL. Complete. Mark takes the victory in P1. Kedshi could only get P2 in the end after a disastrous stop took him out of the running. Kernjoker picked up damage, managed to take his limping Mercedes home to the podium. Murcielago got P4. Kevin Jacobs, stellar drive in P5. Beamer Black, P6. Galactic Skull 2 comes home in P7 with 8 seconds worth of penalties. JFD in 9th, and Anel Tanovic comes home dead last with 20 seconds worth of penalties on top of his poor performance here today. So, ladies and gentlemen, that has been round number 6 at Laguna Seca. You can join us next time for round number 7, or you can catch round number 7 of the NORL F1 series on Sunday. Thank you so much for watching. We hope you enjoyed the race. What a race it was. Congratulations to Mark once again. And until Sunday, we'll see you here, all from here, all of us at GamingNow and NORL. Goodbye.